Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3 to another 50 kills on True Vault Hunter mode Mayhem 4. Another one of our series. I don't know what we're up to now. It's surely got to be into the 20s. I have killed like a whole bunch, let's just say a whole bunch of bosses on Mayhem 4, True Vault Hunter mode 50 times in Borderlands 3. I did set myself the goal when Mayhem 4 came out to kill all the named bosses in the game 50 times to 1. Test their Mayhem 4 dedicated drops. We've pretty much found all of those. And on top of that, to compare all the drop rates of just like world drops, anointed drops, class mod drops, artifact drops across all the bosses. So by the end, we'll have a good like comparison of who was like the best boss for dropping a bunch of legendaries, who's the best for dropping class mods, anointed weapons, which I'm still trying to get, and I'm like 20 episodes in. But today's episode is Scraptrap Prime. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be his name, but he's the Claptrap boss enemy in the DLC 1. And let me just say, this is definitely at least top 3 of the most boring bosses I've farmed out of all 20 plus I've done so far. And the reason for that is these guys. There is an army of them that you have to kill before you actually get to the Scraptrap Prime, which is just typical because Claptrap is literally famous for just being the most annoying character out of any game I've probably ever played. And that's what makes him great. But farming him is so irritating. But at least it's not without reward. Now where to find Scraptrap and his annoying little army is down in the compactor where he belongs with the rest of the trash. That's currently where I am. From the fast travel station, you just want to run to the left through here. There's a whole bunch of bandits or robots, whatever the heck they are. You run through here and you'll find a little tunnel. Keep running through here. I believe this is where the news station is, and you just have to do this short run, jump down to this hole, and this is the boss fight arena in which you 1v1 them. Slash 1v50 then. As for loadout for this thing, he is a Hyperion robot, so he is armored, so caustic / corrosion weapons are the best things to use. My best weapon, or my favorite weapon to use, was my Lucian's Call, because going to fade away as flak gets all those crit hits and they ricochet everywhere and absolutely destroys the absolute army that there is at the start. There's at least 20-ish robots that you have to kill. So this thing makes it really easy. Just go fade away and it just pings all of them. The iron cannon, like you can't go wrong. It's just probably one of my top 5 favorite weapons in the game. Best rocket launcher by far, highest damage thing ever. With my caustic elemental, it's just the best. Like you can destroy at least 5 of them one shot. And then when the boss comes out, this thing is literally all I use. I just keep charging it and just hit him with it. Probably takes 2 or 3 with my build, and that's not built around it. So if you're like a Moe's character that has like increased splash damage or explosive damage or whatever it's called, this thing will absolutely shred him. I also had my Kipsworth just because that's a lot of fun to use. I also had my more Lineage as well because it's just one of my favorite guns to use, and I essentially just used these two whenever these two weren't reloaded. As for shield, I just stayed with the same one, high capacity. I didn't really have to worry about it. Like I downed a few times, but it was super easy to get back up because the Claptraps are super weak. So I just went with that. If you guys have any better suggestions, leave it down below. As for grenade, I don't usually cover it in my boss fight loadouts because it's not always that necessary, but the Ghast Call is definitely one you're going to want to use in this boss fight. If you have the Vindicator prefix, it's the best one. It's the strongest one. I just spam these honestly because they drop a whole bunch of ammo on the ground. You can just keep throwing them even without like a bottomless grenade build with Moe's. You can just keep throwing this thing. You'll never run out as long as you run around in circles because they drop so much ammo, which is great. And then these things have the homing skull thing, so that just chases all of them that are running away from you and kills them as well. As for skill tree, I won't run through the entire thing because that takes way too long. If you guys want to pause it and check it out for yourselves, it is the same thing as it's been for like the last 10 episodes. I've just found it and I'm good with this. If you guys want to pause it and check it out for yourselves, there's a high damage crit build, and it is a getting my fadeaway back as quick as possible kind of build. And it works really well for me. It works pretty much on all the bosses. I don't think I've changed it in at least a month. I just have a few runs showing on screen so you guys can check out the boss fight itself. My strategy is essentially just spamming Ghast Calls as much as possible, using the Lucian's Call in fadeaway and then the iron cannon to get myself up and destroying the Scraptrap Prime himself because he has a bunch of health. So high damage rocket launcher works really well on him. But while you guys are checking out the action, I shall run through the stats for you guys. Out of the 50 runs on True Vault Hunter mode Mayhem 4, Scraptrap Prime dropped 80 legendary items, which compared to the non-DLC bosses, that is only just slightly below average. But when you compare it to all the other bosses I farmed so far, he's super low, particularly considering he has at least one guaranteed legendary drop every single time you farm him. If you guys are just looking for sheer world drop numbers though, Jackpot is definitely the best boss to farm. He dropped 165 legendaries out of the 50 runs on Mayhem 4, which is an absolutely insane amount. Of course, you do need DLC 1 for that, and he doesn't drop the weapons anywhere near as much that were in the game originally. He mostly drops the DLC 1 weapons and class mods. Alternatively, if you guys are looking for the weapons that were already in the game, the Agonizer 9000 is definitely the best place to go. He dropped 157 out of our 50 kills on Mayhem 4 True Vault Hunter mode. And third place is Rampager with 153. He's also a great place depending on what kind of build you have in terms of speed. Agonizer 9000 doesn't have any immunity stages if you're putting out enough damage, whereas the Rampager has 3, so it's kind of time consuming, but up to you guys. As for the Anointeds, Scraptrap Prime dropped 11 Anointed Legendary Weapons, which is again below average unfortunately. The number one spot for that currently of Anointed Legendary Weapons is the Fabricator Mark II, which is a DLC 1 boss as well. I made a video on him recently. If you guys haven't seen that one, definitely check it out because he's a great place to farm. He dropped 28 Anointed Legendaries, which is just mental. Second place is Troy with 25, which I particularly hate that boss fight. So if you guys are going for the weapons that were already in the game, I would recommend Gigamind, who's in third place. He dropped 22 Anointed Legendaries out of his 50 runs, and he's just a way easier and faster boss fight. As for Legendary class mods though, Scraptrap Prime did actually drop 20 Legendary class mods, which is pretty good, puts him in third place. Keep in mind though, those are only the DLC 1 class mods. If you guys are going for the ones that are already in the game or only the new ones that came out with Mayhem 4, Agonizer 9000 is definitely the place to go. He dropped 25 Legendary class mods out of the 50 runs, and currently the number one spot for Legendary class mods with 83 Loki broken is the Jackbot boss fight at the end of the DLC 1 as well. Again, he only drops DLC 1 Legendary class mods, but if you guys are trying to get like the God roll, that is a great place to go. I'd recommend you guys doing that ASAP though, because I assume they will patch that because that is just way too high and just low-key broken. As for Legendary artifacts though, Scraptrap Prime doesn't drop any because there is no new artifacts in the DLC 1 unfortunately, so he doesn't drop any of them. If you guys are looking for Legendary artifacts though, the best places would be Rampager in number one spot with 22 Legendary artifacts, Tyrene in second place with 19 Legendary artifacts, and Grave Ward and General Traunt tied for third place with 17 Legendary artifacts after 50 runs on True Vault Hunter Mode Mayhem 4. My recommendation personally would be Grave Ward or General Traunt just because they don't have any immunity stages and they are a super fast farm, particularly if you are stacked to kill them super quick. Like I've seen many people one-shot both of them. So I definitely recommend those, whereas Tyrene and Rampager both have immunity stages and you can't really get around those regardless of what kind of build you have. So the other two are just faster. As for dedicated drops, I'm pleased to announce that Scraptrap Prime does actually have 2 guaranteed dedicated drops. He drops them every single time that you farm him, or he drops one or the other. He always drops at least one of them though, which I guess does make it way easier if you guys are farming for like just a really good God roll with bonuses or any anointments or anything like that. He makes it super easy to get them because he drops them every single time. Now the first and the better of his 2 dedicated drops or guaranteed drops is the Lucky 7 pistol. It is an absolutely amazing Jacob's pistol in Borderlands 3. DLC 1 you can't get in just the normal game. This thing is an absolute tank. The stats itself make it look, pretty decent, not amazing, but I'll show you guys the gimmick in a second, and that is why it's an absolute tank. The damage first is 1006, which is just good in itself. The accuracy is 59% and the handling is 57%, so pretty average for those. Reload time is pretty okay with 2.8. Fire rate super quick with 12.6 per second. Magazine size of 10. The weapon zoom is ×5, but it does also spawn without the scope itself, so you don't actually have to have those. You can keep farming until you don't get it. I personally like the scopes, kind of makes it like a little sniper rifle type deal. Mine is also anointed on action skill and melee damages, increased by 100% for a short time. These kind of anointments are super easy to get because he drops them every second time-ish. So eventually you will find an anointed one. And now for the best thing about this weapon, every time you reload, it has a chance to spin out of 5 different bonuses the gun can have. The first one being auto crits, which essentially means for the whole next magazine, every bullet in there will hit a critical hit every single shot regardless of where you hit the enemy, which is amazing. And on top of that, because it's a Jacob's weapon, the bullets will ricochet as well. The second one is fully auto, which essentially just means it is fully automatic and shoots bullets really, really quick, which can be good if you're trying to put out as much damage as quickly as possible, but the recoil on it does go absolutely crazy, so you will have to be up close for that one. The third one is Amp Shot. If you guys haven't played Borderlands 2, that is a bit of a throwback to the B shield, which is the most beloved shield in any Borderlands game ever. There are still, of course, Amp Shot weapons in Borderlands 3, but of course they're just not as good. Essentially the idea in Borderlands 3, if you guys haven't got one of these shields yet, it drains some of your shield capacity once it's fully charged and puts it into the bullet damage of the next shot. So if it's like an iron cannon, which already has a crazy amount of damage, it just puts that extra bit of damage on it, which is absolutely crazy and an amazing perk in a lot of instances. On this pistol, it doesn't even drain your shield capacity, it just does the extra damage, which is dope. As for the fourth one, it comes with explosive rounds, which is pretty self-explanatory, does that little bit of extra damage. The fifth one, because it's called the Lucky 7 pistol, if you guys roll the fifth bonus, it shoots 7 projectiles in the shape of a 7, which is pretty damn awesome, and it doesn't cost any extra ammo, it just does essentially 7 times the amount of damage, of course if you're hitting all of those bullets. And if it couldn't get amazing enough already, you can actually roll several or hypothetically all of them in one shot. I've personally never seen that done before, but hypothetically it can happen. But you do often get like 2 or 3 bonuses at the same time, which is pretty damn awesome. So you could get like auto crits, you could get amp shot, and you could get explosive rounds all at the same time, just making it an absolutely tank of a weapon. And it's just an awesome gimmick to have. And the second guaranteed or dedicated drop for Scraptrap is the Boomer SMG, a dual SMG. It comes with 495 damage, the one I do does at least. The accuracy is pretty decent with 78%, handling average with 58. The reload time is super quick with 1.8. The fire rate pretty damn quick with 12.4, pretty average for an SMG, I guess. Magazine size of 18. The red text reads, "Some like it hot." Mine come with a bunch of different bonuses, and the text down the very bottom says, "Bullets are laced with hot sauce." Now this thing does only come with fire elemental and non-elemental damage, or at least the ones I have seen. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but I've got a whole bunch of these, and they're the only 2 I've ever got. My honest opinion of the gun, I've used a little bit, and honestly it's not all that. It's pretty good against flesh enemies, but for the DLC there's mostly robots, it's not that good. I feel like you definitely have to spec into it for it to be a viable M4 weapon, which is the only setting I'm playing on. I only have it on Mayhem 4. But if you guys are playing on Mayhem 1, 2, or 3, or just no Mayhem at all, this SMG is probably a pretty decent weapon. Just not great for Mayhem 4 bosses or enemies, unless they're like psychos with absolutely 0 shields. But honestly, that might just be me not having a great build to test it out. If you guys have any great builds for it, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'd love to hear it. Because right now I'm just not that interested in this SMG. But yeah, that is 50 kills of Scraptrap Prime and his annoying little army of Scraptrap robots. They're super irritating. But at least he drops the Lucky 7 a whole bunch, so you guys can get a good anointment or a good roll damage thing on it. Definitely go and get it. It's actually a really fun pistol you use. Even if you're not spec'd into it, it's just a great pistol. Now, like usual, I will have a comment pinned to the double comment section down below, which will have the full list of legendaries that we got from Scraptrap Prime after 50 kills, Mayhem 4, True Vault Hunter mode. You guys can check that list out down below if you would like. And like normal, if you guys are missing any legendary weapons in Borderlands 3 and you just can't get it because RNG sucks, trust me, I feel your pain. Feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I have a whole bunch of spares. If I have them, I'll add you on PlayStation. I'll send them to you just for free, because I just don't need all these extra spares. I have way too many split screen accounts, and my bank is full with just stuff I don't use. So I'll send it to you guys if I have it and you guys are after it. If you guys are on Xbox or if you're on PC though, feel free to leave a comment down below anyways, because the Borderlands 3 community is just lit with just trading and just giving away weapons for free. Plus it's Christmas time, end of year time. If you guys have spare weapons, feel free to go down in the comment section down below and help somebody out. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below, hit the little bell icon, like the video, and share the video with your friends so they can see how to get the Lucky 7 and how irritating Scraptrap is to kill. Huge things coming in 2020 for this channel. I am so keen. I hope you guys are keen as well. And yeah, other than that, I shall see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be out tomorrow. Fingers crossed. New Year's Eve time is super busy for me, but once 2020 comes around, we're going back to daily every single day. And yeah, adios.